Courtney Cooper. It's Training Tip Tuesday. Usually I would be at my desk for this. Oh wait, baby alert. Little baby alerts. Baby and mommy. Sorry, we'll get more of that later. Anyway, I'm Courtney Cooper. I'm the owner of C Square Farm and partner in Excel Star Sport Horses. Usually I would be at my desk doing most of this work, but because we wanted to be down here in the barn talking about the horses, we started down here. So here we are. Reese is on the camera as always. She's doing a great job. And today we're going to talk about schedules and keeping the horses in a routine and how we organize which competitions to go to, how to organize the horses for their best performances there, and how to make it easy for all of you as riders, trainers, and then if you are lucky enough to have grooms and staff as well. So please feel free to let us know where you are, where you're watching from, and if you have any questions. And I'm just going to start, and if you guys have questions, feel free to ask them, and Reese will let me know what they are. So every day we start off with what we refer to as the Black Book. We have lots of these going back years. Different professionals do it different ways, but what we do is we will list the horses' names and what they did, jumped, flat, DO is day off, anything odd that might have happened if a horse got kicked or was lame or had a big leg or an abscess, so that we can refer back to this. And it's also the basis for our schedules. So that's thing one. And then based on that, we work off of that. What I try to do with the beginner, novice, and training horses and the 3-year-olds that are coming into work is that they work 5 days a week. And so usually that means that they get like Wednesday or Thursday off. That's usually an easy day for our staff. One of them usually has Wednesday and one of them will usually have Thursday off, so that the person who stays with me doesn't have to do 19 horses with me. We only have to do 8 or 9. Anyway, and then the other day off is usually on the weekends when we're competing. Same thing there, that it's just easier to handle the horses when you're not here, if you break it down so that it's not quite as many to ride. So that's how we do that. So if you've got a Wednesday, Thursday off, and you've got a Saturday or Sunday off, that leaves you with sort of 3 days break, 3 days break. And so again, let's look at the young horses. If I'm on round, then on the jumping, I work a lot on rideability. Oh, wait, more babies. Oh, there's Noah. Growing up so fast. This is mommy. Turn off the dehumidifier for a moment. So, on the work a lot on rideability, so they do a lot of gymnastics. They do a lot of exercises with turning, with lots of low fences, things that aren't going to stress them out a lot, but things that help them learn how to push off your leg, go into the corner, be connected from their inside leg to their outside rein. So let's say I had a horse that was a little tough on the flat. I flatted them on Monday. I jumped him a little bit on Tuesday with the rideability. Wednesday, I'd probably go back and do some more flat work. Maybe spend 20 minutes just on walk, trot, walk transitions, and doing a lot of them. You don't realize that over a course of a horse's life, they really have to do. Then I might do some jumping work again, specializing in some rideability, and then a little bit of coursework for those young horses, maybe putting 3, 4, 5, 6 fences together. And then again, I would either hack them or flat them Saturday or Sunday. So that would be Wednesdays and Sundays. So those are their gallop days. So I might do a flat school, a lighter flat school, and then do a gallop. And their gallops are based on where they want to finish the season. And so we'll talk about that in a little bit. I usually don't start galloping until I'm about 5 weeks from my first competition. So that's when those start. And again, I don't really start them galloping until they're sort of preliminary horses. I have some youngsters right now that are just moving up to preliminary. They'll gallop once a week and sort of be competing the other weekend, and so that's usually enough to keep them fit. I'm not usually pressing the young horses for time. So if you gallop on a Wednesday and a Sunday, you would flat on a Monday. You might do a little gymnastic jumping on Tuesday. You gallop on Wednesday, and then I like having an easy day. My horses walk quite a lot, and so Thursday they'd probably do an hour walk, and then Friday they would be back doing flat work. They again might jump a little bit, doing more coursework on Saturday. Then they'd gallop on Sunday. They might have Monday off, but there's a day off in there somewhere based on the schedule, based on who's where and doing what. Competitions. So in terms of competing the horses, what I like to do is I like to work backwards as well as forwards. We're lucky right now to have a pretty nice string of horses, and this is what their schedule looks like. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe Reese can zoom in a little bit on that. Got it going too fuzzy. And you can see we've listed the horse's name on top, the competition, the dates of the competition, and the levels, and then who's riding them. You can see the blue is me, so I'm riding most of these horses, but occasionally, like in Aiken, we have another rider, and we're looking for an ambitious individual to join us as a rider. So if you know of anybody, please feel free to email or shout out. So anyway, so based on that, what we'll do is we'll work backwards. So for example, for Joy and David and TikTok, they are all qualified for the 5-year-old Young Event Horse Championship. And the AECs and the 5-year-old Young Event Horse Championships were the two big things that those horses' fall program were centered on. And obviously the AECs didn't happen. So now we're back on the 5-year-old Young Event Horse as our sole goal. And so we've worked backwards. So for example, for those horses, they will do Radnor as their last competition. It's 3 weeks prior to the Young Event Horse Championship, so if for some reason they come up with a bang or a bruise or they grab a heel, there's plenty of time to resolve that issue and get them back into training and make sure they feel good. Do you have a question?
No.
No questions? Sorry. Reese is making faces, so I didn't know what was going on. And then we work backwards based on that. So they'll all do Radnor, and then we also have calendars, big calendars, because we use my phone, but she's using my phone. But you can see that the Young Event Horse Championships are the last week in October, and Radnor is here, so that gives us plenty of time if something happens. Morven, the training horses go, and then some of the horses will run at ESDCTA. With these 5-year-olds, they've all had really good seasons, and so we're sort of picking and choosing their competitions. TikTok and David went to Flora Lee and did the preliminary. They were both outstanding, finishing 4th and 8th. And Joy had run the modified at Seneca, and she was quite good. So we'll sort of keep that in mind, that maybe we'd like to do 1 or 2 competitions before the Young Event Horse Championships to prep them for that, to feel like they're ready to go. Now, on the young horses, we just got a new horse, Now or Never. He is quite green. He's a really good jumper, and he's quite green, and we would like to take him to the 5-year-olds. He's qualified. It'll be a push to get him there, to have him be competitive, but we're going to try to get him there. If all the things line up, that'd be great. And so the way we're going to do that is he did the Young Horse Qualifier 2 weeks ago, right when he arrived and got qualified, and then he ran novice at Flora Lee this past weekend. He will go again to ESDCTA in 2 weeks and do the novice, and then he might go to Radnor depending on who goes and who doesn't go and who's qualified, who's sort of ready to go, and who gets sold, because we have a couple that are coming in to get sold. So anyway, so that will be his program. So when you're thinking about scheduling from the forward, that's what I mean, in that you've got the end goal of saying, okay, like I'd like to get there, but it's going to be a push to get there. So I don't ever sort of say the horse has to go someplace, but rather they will tell you what they can and cannot do. Also, going back to our schedule with the young horses and the older horses, I tend to, with the preliminary, intermediate, and advanced horses, I ride with Boyd Martin, and Boyd's been super helpful for my cross country. And so for them, usually we school once every 2 weeks, the preliminary, intermediate, and advanced horses. That will replace one of our gallops. And then for the young horses, I usually take them about once every 2 weeks as well. And that will be on one of their jump days. And then the next day, they'll have a very light day. So, forgot to tell you that. But I do think it's real helpful to get the horses out cross country and get them practicing that as well. So one week I may focus more on show jumping and rideability, and then the next week I'll have a cross country school, and I might not even do much show jump school. They might just do cataletties. Okay? Any questions yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. So in terms of working backwards from a competition, as I mentioned, David, Time to Shine, just did Floor Lee, the preliminary there, and he had run the weekend before at Seneca. So, in the modified. So that was quite a lot for him. It's just the way the schedule worked out because plantation is this weekend, and I didn't feel like their educations were going to be prepared to do the preliminary there. And so, for example, this week he has already had, it's Sunday off. We jogged all of the horses to check their health and their legs the day after their competition, so that way we have a keen sense of where everybody is in terms of their soundness. And then he's had 2 days of walking work, where we have some hills around the property, and he's walked Monday, he's walked Tuesday. Tomorrow he'll do a light flat day, and then he'll probably do some gymnastic work Thursday or Friday, and then get back into the swing of things. But I like to take it a little bit easier on the young horses and the older horses, sort of the horses that are in that sweet spot of 7 to 12. They tend to work a little bit harder, a little bit more consistently. So we do that. But for example, last week, so he had competed on Saturday of the week before, and he was competing on Saturday of last weekend. And so what we did was, they'll do a light flat school the day before the competition, just to keep them limber and to get all the movements done. I might run through the test once to see where I think the problems may be for me in the test, and to sort of think about what I need to do in warm-up. The Thursday before the event, I will do a show jumping school, and I'll primarily work on rideability there. I might string 3 or 4 fences together, maybe 8, but I'm not going to do a whole lot of coursework, because at the end of the day, I want to do the coursework on Sunday at the competition, and so I want to make them rideable, so that's Thursday's job. And then Wednesday, they'll usually have the day off. Tuesday, they'll do some more rideability work, and then Monday, they would do flat work. In his case, like I said, he competed, so he Monday he walked, Tuesday he flatted, Wednesday he had off, Thursday he jumped, Friday he flatted, and then he went to the competition. But it's very, very rare that we do back-to-back weekends. So, the other thing is, when you're going to a competition the week before the competition, for the flat work, I don't introduce anything new on the flat work, or really on the jumping. I try to just confirm what the horses know and how they do it, so that the horses only get better. You don't have a horse that is learning a flying change, or learning how to rein back, or learning about skins. By that point, your homework should be well done and well accomplished, and only have things that you're trying to solidify. One of the other things that I do is I use dressage tests. And I know some people don't ever pick up their tests. There are always lots of them left at the secretaries. I like reading them. There are some judges in particular that I find super helpful in their commentary, that may say something that I've missed completely. This is the test Now or Never did this past weekend, and his big comments, because he is so green, is that he just needs a steadier connection, and he needs to find that connection going forward. And once he gets that acceptance, he'll be quite good. So that's sort of how we set the horses' schedules for the work that they're going to do. I also have been asked about how do we have a question?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, we have a question. What's the question?
Paige Ellen Diedrich asks, it sounds like you use a lot of your intuition on what is best for your horses. How did you develop your system?
Trial, failure. Learning is uncomfortable. I have a friend who says that, we do it by trial and error. I've been doing this for 35 years, and so what works for one horse will sometimes not work for another. Some horses really do a whole lot better jumping the day before they go to a competition. I don't tend to have that type of a horse, but I know several of my friends have had real good success with that. Some horses need lots of slow work the day before, and the riders will take them out for long hacks, maybe 2 long hacks, the upper level horses, as well as do a flat school. Again, it's not something that I've ever had to do, I've never gone that way. But you learn what works and what doesn't work. Right now I have a really talented horse, the double clover horse, we call him DC, and he is quite hot. And so for me, I am trying to find a program to have him blossom at the shows. And it's been a bit challenging for me, to be honest, because he's a little green, he's only 5, and he can be a little anxious at the show. So trying to find all of the pieces that work is what works. But I'm a big believer in trying different things. As you can see on my tack room wall, I have several different bridles and mouthpieces and nose pieces, nothing too severe. And a lot of times, something will be dirty, and so I'll put it in a horse's mouth just to be like, hey, this is dirty, so we don't have to clean another bridle. Let's throw it on and see how he goes in it. And sometimes it'll be a light bulb moment, and you're going to be like, why didn't I try that? And sometimes it's just a disaster. You're like, okay, I don't have to do that again. So that's how I learned. So I would say the big thing is don't be afraid of failing. So in terms of the great question, if you have any more, please let me know, Paige. The other thing I will tell you is you'll find with some horses, especially the young ones, we have lots of young horses right now, and we've had lots of horses that have come over from Ireland. The heat and humidity affects them differently because they've never been in a hot mid-Atlantic summer where the humidity is so hard and it feels like a tropical forest sometimes. And so, again, through years of having those horses come in, you learn that 20 minutes is a lot for them. And so, as we approach the fall, now we're in September, you can see I'm actually in a coat, which is great. They will start to get a little bit higher in their energy levels, and so that's when you have to say to them, I'm going to back down on your grain a little bit because your energy level has come up because it's not as hot and humid. That's one alternative. They might need more turnout. They might need a different work schedule, but you just need to figure that out as the weather changes. A lot of people I have come to me and they say, oh, my horse is acting really badly and there's been a 20-degree temperature change, and they don't think of it in that way. But, they feel frisky, and they will get more energy when the weather's better. I think we all feel a little bit better when it's not oppressively hot and humid. So, another question?
Yes, from Chloe Gaines. She says, hi from Maryland. On your walk days, is it a free rein, relaxy trail ride kind of walk you do, or do they walk on a contact?
Yes and no. My lovely girls, Reese and Jen McNamara, who joined us for the last 10 days, it's a working walk. The idea is it's not a saunder, it's exercise. And so just like you or me when you go out jogging. You can sort of jog and not pay attention and sort of, you know, yeah, get a little bit of exercise out of it. Or you can jog with a purpose and sort of keep your body erect and have your core tight and get really a lot of exercise out of it. So when my horses walk, they walk. They don't have to be on contact in a frame, but they need to walk. The walk is forward. With an overstep, I'm never upset with the girls if I see the horses jig a little. We also have some pretty big hills around one of the paddocks, and so they'll walk around one of those fields. So in terms of what's the daily routine look like here, he has sort of felt the heat and humidity. He's a big horse that we have high hopes for, and so he's going to just have a nice easy day of it and go for a walk with her. We start the day at 6:30, unless my husband can't sleep, in which case he starts at 5. We're lucky that Neil is home full time now with us. He does have another job and another career and another business he owns, so he doesn't work for us full time, but he's always been very active with the horses. When it's hot and humid, we try to get the mares and foals out by 5:30, so they have their breakfast and they're out by 5:30, and usually they were in by 10. Now with the weather changing, they go out more at 7. We start our day at 6:30 and we feed, and they go out at 7. And then they come in around noon. We're going to go see the babies, speaking of. So we have 3 mares and foals that you guys might remember. Let's see who's going to be social. Hi, Noah. So this is the middle foal. Can you stay down there for me? Good boy. So Noah is by Andrea Baxter's stallion Coronado, out of our Hunting Stars mare, who is a half sister to Who's a Star. He's growing into quite old. And his surrogate mother is DJ, and she's a great mommy. A little overprotective of him sometimes, but overall a great mommy. And then he has a fraternal twin who is 3 weeks older, who's scratching her back. Hey, Ellie. So, Ellie is his mother, and Ellie is actually, oh, Ellie. Ellie's starting to go, Ellie! Ellie doesn't really like anybody but Neil. Ellie, can you move without kicking me? Go on. Okay, we're going to try going across to her. So, this is baby Ziva. Want to see if you can come in here? And Ziva is Noah's fraternal twin. She was born a couple weeks before him. And she is quite a big lady. I don't know if by the time we get done if they will be up, but she is also by Coronado and by Hunting Stars. She's a very pretty girl. You're okay.
Paige Ellen Diedrich asks, do you often use surrogate mares for your breeding program?
So we have a couple very well-bred mares. We have Hunting Stars, who is quite like her mother, who's a foundation mare. And so rather than stopping her competing, we've used surrogates. We did breed her, it's an odd story, but she has a yearling foal, yearling filly out in the field. Let me back up. We wanted to make sure that she was fertile because we had one dose of semen from a stallion that was killed in a trailer accident, and we wanted her to carry that foal. And so we wanted to make sure that she was fertile, and so we bred her with the idea that we would take that embryo off of her and implant it in another mare to hold that, and just to make sure she was fertile. And so that's that filly foal outside. Unfortunately, Joy didn't take with the 1 dose of semen we had, and so rather than breed her and have her carry a foal, we decided just to let her continue to compete. So that foal was so nice, we decided to go again, and last year we did an embryo transfer again. We were lucky enough, Tamara Dobie over at New Bolton is fantastic, and she got us 2 embryos, and so that's why they're fraternal twins. So that's why we use surrogate mares. And then to further answer your question, because we have another surrogate mare who is in our breeding program, the next mare we're going to go see is Believe in the Stars. Both Believe in the Stars and Rockstar, Noah's mother, DJ, have had foals with us. They came out of our breeding program, and like everything we do, we're trying to raise the quality of the product we produce and of the horse we produce. And so while their foals were nice, I'm not sure for my job they were exceptional. And last year we had a lovely mare who had the same mother as Timothy Burke's Luck and Quality horse that we really liked, and so we bred her to a thoroughbred stallion out west, and we got our last foal, who is Ghost or Storybook Star, and so Bits carried him. So for next year we have only 1 foal. Oh, he's really sleepy. Can I come see you? Is it okay if I come see you? Hi, Sleepy. So he's only about 3 weeks old. Oh no, he's so tired. Hi. Oh, you're so tired. Oh, my goodness, so tired. Oh, you're so tired. He's 3 weeks old, and as you can see, he's still very, very furry. He hasn't lost any of his foal coat. So it's important with him that we make sure that he gets in before it gets hot, because he can get really overheated very easily. The babies don't have a very good temperature control. But anyway, that's him. He's very sweet. He's very sweet. Go back. Oh, are you going to get up for us? Oh, there you go. Talk about sleep lines. Go about that side. This side has plenty of sleep lines. Oh, time for lunch. Let's sneak out. There we go. Oh, move forward. There you go. Good boy. So there you go. So on a daily basis, the mares and foals basically run our lives. So they'll get lunch here, usually between 12:30 and 1. The lactating mares need the extra lunch because we don't feed lunch to a lot of the other horses, but they are using quite a lot of energy and calories to feed their foals, so they get a third meal. So we start at 6:30. We feed everybody. We do turnouts, and then everybody goes and grabs a quick breakfast. We're a little bit different in that I sell a lot of horses, as most of you know. We sell between 50 and 60 horses a year. So our lives are also run schedule-wise by our clients and our staff. And so we usually have clients 2 to 3 days a week, which means that we usually have vettings once a week at least. And so, for example, this afternoon we have a vetting, and so that needs to be put in the schedule, and so we'll do a lot of riding this morning. Before Training Tip Tuesday, as you can see, there's saddles out and bridles out because we've already ridden, I think, 6 or 7. And then we'll do Training Tip Tuesday. I'll teach you a few lessons. We'll have the vetting, and then I'll finish up in the afternoon with my horses. But we'll try to get everybody done and everything through. We try to feed around 5. Finish up around the barns. I sometimes will not finish riding until 6 or 7. It's a bad habit of mine, but I like to return phone calls when people call. And then we do late night checks somewhere after 9, somewhere between 9 and 10. We'll make sure all the horses look well, that they're all drinking and have hay and water for the evening. And then again, the mares and foals, like I said, they run our lives. They get fed again. So that's sort of our daily routine. That's a little bit about how we schedule things. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to write us on Facebook, and I'll try to answer those questions. Next week we'll probably do a riding video, so if you'd like to see me ride a specific horse or do a specific thing or handle a certain problem, please let me know. Any questions before we sign off?
No.
No other questions. So thank you again. I hope everybody enjoyed visiting with the foals and learning a little bit more about our program. We're always happy to share, and we look forward to seeing you next Tuesday. Thank you very much.